Today is not a normal Friday for you, Libra. There is a quiet collision happening in your chart right now. One part of it has been building for months, and one part is happening in the next few hours, and by the end of this, you will understand why today might feel like two different days stitched into one. Let us start with the slow-burning story, the one that has been running underneath everything since earlier this year. Chiron, the wounded teacher of the Zodiac, has been camped out in Taurus, and it has been sitting there testing your relationship with money, possessions, and security. This is a Western psychological read on your chart. Chiron is not a planet. It is a small, icy body astrologers treat as a symbol of old wounds that double as teachers. And here is the thing about Chiron. It rarely destroys anything. It exposes what was not built on solid ground in the first place. If you have been eyeing a bold financial move lately, a scheme, a leap, a bet on yourself that feels a little rebellious, this transit does not say, do not do it. It says test it against someone grounded first, not a yes man. Someone who will tell you the truth, even when it is inconvenient. That is the maverick energy Chiron rewards right now, not recklessness, but honesty about what actually works versus what only sounds good in your head. Now, here is what changes the temperature of the whole day. Layered on top of that long, slow Chiron lesson is something much faster and much brighter. The moon. The moon is moving through Aquarius, lighting up your fifth house, the house of joy, creativity, romance, and self-expression, and it is forming a supportive trine to Mars, sitting in your ninth house of learning, philosophy, and expansion. In plain terms, your emotional energy and your drive are actually cooperating today instead of fighting each other. That is rarer than people realize. Most days, your feelings and your ambitions are having two separate conversations. Today they are having one. Take a moment with that, because it explains a lot about how you have probably been feeling since you woke up. You may have noticed a kind of restless optimism this morning, an urge to organize your space, your thoughts, your week, almost like you are clearing a table before setting something new on it. That is the Aquarius moon at work. And in Vedic tradition, this same lunar placement is read as bringing sharp problem-solving instinct and a talent for cutting through confusion with maturity rather than panic. Two different systems, same conclusion. Today favors clear thinking wrapped in creative energy. But here is what almost every generic horoscope misses about a day like this: creativity without direction just becomes noise. The trine to Mars in your house of learning is not just decoration. It is permission to take whatever spark you are feeling and actually build something with it. Sketch the idea. Record the thing. Post the poem. Try the dance you have been too self-conscious to film. Then, and this is the part people skip, show it to someone smart enough to expand it rather than someone who will just tell you it is nice. Feedback that flattens your style is not feedback. It is erosion. Feedback that stretches your idea while keeping your voice intact. That is the gift this transit is actually offering. Let that spill into how your relationships might feel today. With this same fifth house lit up, romance gets a gentle but real boost. If you are partnered, small, unscripted gestures land bigger than usual right now, the kind of thing you do not plan 3 days in advance, you just do because the feeling's there. If you are single, this energy leans more toward magnetism through authenticity than through strategy. You are not performing today, you are just more yourself, and that tends to be what people actually respond to. The one caution here: do not let outside pressure, a friend's opinion, a family member's timeline, anyone's expectations, let your own talk you out of what your gut is already telling you about a person or a decision. Te rewards instinct over consensus. Carry that same instinct into your work. The day can feel a little unstructured at first, plans shifting, a to-do list that will not quite hold its shape, but that Aquarius clarity has a way of assembling the pieces, almost on its own if you stop forcing them. Tough conversations or messy situations at work respond better to calm maturity today than to urgency. And here is where it gets interesting for anyone weighing a financial risk alongside a career move. That long-running Chiron lesson about honest outside perspective applies directly here too. Before you sign anything, commit to anything, or bet on anything that touches your income, run it past someone whose judgment you trust more than your own excitement. This is where the Western reading of Chiron's slow test and the Vedic reading of today's clear-headed moon are actually describing the same advice from two completely different angles. Get outside input, then move. Here is what makes today genuinely worth paying attention to, and it is the kind of detail that is easy to miss if you are only half listening. The same fifth house energy that is fueling your creativity, your romance, and your confidence today is also standing right next to a months-long lesson about financial honesty. Most days, those two things, the fun, expressive side of you and the cautious, grounded side of you, operate in completely different rooms. Today, they are in the same room at the same table, which means any creative or spontaneous decision you make right now, especially one with money attached, is being watched by both parts of your chart at once. The reframe here is simple, but it matters. Spontaneity and wisdom are not opposites today. You are actually capable of doing both at the same time, if you let yourself. Sit with that for a second, because it changes how you might want to spend the rest of your day. Physically and mentally, this is a good window to move rather than sit still. Energy is available, but it is a little scattered, so channel it instead of letting it drain out sideways. A walk, a workout, a creative project you can actually finish today, anything that gives the Aquarius restlessness somewhere to go, will serve you better than trying to power through a rigid schedule. Some Vedic practitioners might connect a day like this to Saturn-related discipline practices, or suggest supportive rituals tied to your birth chart specifically, but that kind of remedy work really only means something after a real chart reading, not as a blanket suggestion for every Libra watching. What is universally safe, though, is color. Yellow is considered your lucky shade today, so if you have got a shirt, a mug, even a phone case in that color, it is a small, low-stakes way to lean into the day's energy. At home, this same clarity through play theme continues. Family conversations today probably go easier if you keep things light rather than heavy. This is not the day for confrontations. It is the day for genuine, warm gestures. Socially, say yes more than you say no. That impromptu invitation, that last-minute plan someone floats today's chart is practically built for saying yes to it. One area worth a small note of caution. Travel, especially public transportation, may run a little more stressful or unpredictable than usual today. Nothing catastrophic, just friction worth planning around if you can. Spiritually, this is a good day to notice where you have been overthinking something that actually just needed you to trust your gut instead. The morning hours specifically carry the most favorable energy, so if there is something important on your plate today, earlier tends to beat later. Quick and simple. Yellow is your color, mornings are your window, spontaneity is your ally, and outside perspective is your safeguard. So if there is one thing to walk away with today, it is this. You have got a rare kind of permission right now to be playful and wise in the same breath, to chase the creative spark and still ask someone grounded whether it holds up. Sketch the idea, say yes to the invitation, wear the yellow, and before you commit to anything with real weight, especially anything financial, find one honest voice to check it against. Do that. And today has a real chance of becoming one of those days you look back on and realize it quietly changed something. If this kind of reading resonated, you know what to do. Stick around, because tomorrow's sky is already writing the next chapter of your story.